Hey folks, this is Zach. Welcome back to the Murray Homestead. We're in my workshop today and I'm going to show you all how I made this ultimate dust collection cart sanding station. Alrighty, if y'all do any amount of woodworking, you know that dust is kind of like the #1 enemy or one of the more difficult things to mitigate in the shop. So my main way of handling that was to add a cyclone. This is the larger cyclone. If y'all seen one of my other videos, there's a more popular one that's all opaque plastic like this. But this is the Oneida Air Systems cyclone, and they work really well. And it lets you use essentially any shop vac to become, a dust collection system for sanding. And it just saves the life of the vacuum a lot. So all that being said, now you have a vacuum, a second hose, and a cyclone to try to move around your workspace. And it can be kind of a pain in the butt. They literally ship it with like a literal leash. So you can just kind of drag each of them behind each other. The wheels, this dust cyclone is phenomenal. The wheels that come on it suck. They're awful. And the leash is just a joke. So I decided to make myself a little cart. Just a word of warning. I would get 3-inch or bigger casters. I've got some of these little, I believe 1-inch ones that you get from the hardware store. Excuse me, 2-inch. And trying to get around the shop with anything with these is a nightmare. And I think it's mainly because this lock, even though the caster itself has 1 inch of clearance, the lock itself between the ground has, next to no clearance. But these suck. That being said, these casters are 20 bucks a piece, but they should essentially last forever. All right. Another really cool feature about this is you can't see it. It's right behind this 2x4 here. I'll link it down in the description. But one of the really cool parts about a dust extractor, I misspoke earlier. It's a dust extractor. Is that when you turn your sander on, it'll turn your vacuum on for you, and when you turn your sander off, will turn it off for you, which is really convenient. I got this guy off of Glamazon, of course, and I think it's about $20. But it lets you make this like a true dust extraction system. And whenever you want to just use the shop vac as is, all you have to do is swap one plug. I took the wheels, like I said, the wheels on the Cyclone were garbage. The rest of the system is really robust. The wheels, trash. I didn't want it to move around anyways, and then I took the wheels off of the shop vac. This is a DeWalt 6.5 horsepower. The 6.5 horsepower, 16 gallon. I got it from Lowe's, but I'll try to link it in the description if they have it on Amazon so y'all can find it. This thing is a tank. Most shop vacs are about 5 horsepower, which is generally sufficient. But the Cyclone and then this very long hose take away a little bit of the suction power. So that extra 1.5 horsepower really helps. I have a filter bag on the inside just to help mitigate as much dust as possible, as well as the normal filter. I do not have the HEPA filter. But between the dust bag, the Cyclone, the dust bag, and then the filter, I don't notice any cloudiness or anything like that in the air, even if I'm sanding for, an hour or two straight. So yeah, great vacuum, great Cyclone, automatic on-off switch for your sander. This hose, I believe, is from Syntec. Again, linking it in the description. But it's either 20 or 30 feet. But this is a 40-foot long shop, and it's long enough for me to get dang near to the other side. And it's really convenient. When I took the wheels off of this shop vac, or wet dry vac, I also took off the little carrier and stuff in the back and the handle. And I was able to repurpose the handle on this cart As you can see, because all 4 casters will spin, none of them are locked in place. So if I need to get somewhere really tight, it's easy for me to maneuver this thing, even in a crowded shop. And besides the handle that I use to hold the hose up, everything is enclosed. So you can push this right up against a wall or right up in a corner when you're working. And then another really big feature is I put these hooks on here. When you're sanding, especially with a fancy Festool sander like this thing's, you know, $8,000. I cannot stand setting them on the workbench, even if it's perfectly flat. Because usually they'll tip over, or if you set it on the side like this, it'll tip over, and I do not want to warp that disc at all. You know, when I'm sanding, I want things to be flat. So it's really best to hang it if you can. So I put 2 of these little hooks on there, and they're coated with some sort of rubber or vinyl, so it keeps the sanders from getting marred up. And it keeps them nice and safe. And I've got my finish sander on there, and then my great big old Bosch sander on there. This thing is a monster. I'm definitely going to do a video on sanders later. This thing is about half the price of the Festool equivalent, and I've sanded, I'm not going to exaggerate, probably about 100 hours with it, and it absolutely chews through some wood. And you can see, boom, hangs up there like that, and it keeps the disc safe. The only 2 attachments I really use with this is either just the straight hose that goes to the the sanders. And again, the Syntec one is nice. It's got this nice rubber end, so it really makes a nice seal. But when I'm trying to just do normal shop vac stuff around the shop, clean up dust, the only 2 attachments I really use are this fuzzy brush. If you know the name for it, leave it in the comments. I have no idea. But it's a fuzzy brush. And I like it a lot because it doesn't damage any of the wood or any of my machine surfaces. And you could use just a straight plastic, but I've found on sometimes the plastic, depending on what the surface is, can leave little black streaks. So that's why I like the fuzzy brush. But I do like this extension a lot to go onto my hose for when I'm getting up all the dust and stuff off the floor. So that being said, when I'm using this as a dust extractor for my sanders, I'll just set this here, and these bolts that I installed to install the handle just so happens to hold this in place pretty well. I don't have one right now, but I'm going to put a little bungee cord around it. But yeah, it works really, really well. I'll give you all a quick little demonstration on. So this little pigtail only goes down to here. So it's not going to get caught up on anything. So you just plug that guy in. Like so. And on normal shop vac mode, you'll use this top plug. And that is A. There's 2 little plugs on here. But when you want it to be automatic, you'll put it on B. And I'll give you all a quick demonstration of how nice this thing is. So I can take my cord and just plug it into A. And then whenever I go to sand, the dust extractor turns on. And after I turn it off, it runs for about 10 seconds after you turn off your sander, which is really nice because it helps get all the dust that's on all this hose all the way in the cyclone where you want it. And then whenever you're done, or even just in between steps, you can throw that on there, wrap the cord up, and you're good to go. So this, to me, is a superior system to the Festool, and yet it costs significantly less. The only downside to the Festool, or that this has compared to a Festool, I would say, is that I can't control the suction speed or the suction power, I guess. I get that that might be cool sometimes, I guess. I don't really care, and I've never felt the need to turn my vacuum down. But this is just really good for if you got a wood shop or even just your garage and you want to use the cyclone. It's a really nice way to just kind of keep everything compartmentalized and not have cords and everything else all over the ground. And as an added bonus, it will keep your sanders safe. If y'all have any comments or questions, please put them down below. I hope y'all learned something. If you think I should have done something different, by all means, let me know. I'm not afraid of constructive criticism. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the stupid bell, and we'll see y'all next time.